Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about Einstein's equation and photoelectricity. So in the last video, we talked about the basics of this topic. Talked about the formula: speed of light is equals to frequency times wavelength. We talked about frequency is equals to speed of light over wavelength, and wavelength is equals to speed of light over frequency. Now these three formulas are the same, only that we're using to change your subject of formula. We used it to we equated frequency is equals to this, and then wavelength is equal to this. Now we need to know this formula to understand the more complex things. So if we move down to what we're talking about today, actually you can see this formula here. Yeah, we talked about energy is equal to Planck's constant times frequency in the last class. That is the energy of the photon is equal to Planck's constant times frequency. We also talked about work function, which is equal to Planck's constant times threshold frequency. It's denoted as F naught. Now if we move down, we should talk about Einstein's equation. Now Einstein's equation is denoted by energy is equal to work function plus kinetic energy. Energy is equal to work function times kinetic energy. But this formula can now be further broken down into various other parts depending on the kind of question or the problem you are solving. Now let us look at the types of formulas that we can get from this when this is broken down. If you move down, you can see in equation 5 that energy here is equals to HFO plus 1 over 2 mv squared. Now if you move up, we can see that here energy is equal to work function plus kinetic energy. And if we also check the top, we know that work function is equal to Planck's constant and frequency. And we also know that kinetic energy is equal to 1 over 2 mv squared, half mass times velocity squared. Now since we know what work function and kinetic energy are, we simply impute it into this equation and say energy is equal to Planck's constant and frequency plus 1 over 2 mv squared. Now this formula is also equal to this. Now let's now talk about how this formula is also equal to this next formula. We know that energy E is equals to Planck's constant and frequency. E is equals to HF. So since we know that E is equals to HF, we just simply substitute E for HF and say HF is equals to HFO plus 1 over 2 mv squared. HFO being work function and 1 over 2 mv squared being kinetic energy. So we can see that this formula and this one are all the same thing, only that they have been broken down into their various meanings. Now if you now move down to this final one, we can see Planck's constant times speed of light over wavelength is equal to Planck's constant times threshold frequency plus half times mass times velocity squared. Now this formula is also equal to this. Now let me prove it. We know that to get frequency from the formula above, we say frequency is equal to speed of light over wavelength. In a case where you weren't given frequency but you were given speed of light and wavelength, you already know that, okay, so we can just use that to solve for frequency. So when you now substitute speed of light over wavelength into this formula, you have Planck's constant times speed of light over wavelength is equal to HFO, which is work function, plus kinetic energy, which is 1 over 2 mv squared. Now that is just all there is to Einstein's equation under photoelectricity. Honestly, that is all there is to it. So basically what you need to do is just to look at these formulas and understand how to get them one by one. From the very first step of understanding what speed of light is, frequency times wavelength, understanding how to get frequency and wavelength from the very first step. And then after understanding that, you now try to understand what each individual quantity is equal to, what individual quantity does, and what the formula is, like work function, kinetic energy, and energy of the photon. Once you know all that, you can just easily solve any question in any way it comes. Like if you are given a question to solve for wavelength, and then you are given Planck's constant, so you are given threshold frequency, and you are given mass and velocity, obviously you now go and check all the formulas that you know, and then you now check everything and see that, okay, we were given speed of light, Planck's constant, check. We were given threshold frequency, check. We were given mass, check. We were given velocity, check. So when you write out all your parameters and see, you now come and compare it to all the equations, and then you use the equation that fits equation perfectly. Thank you for watching my video. If you want to see more videos like this, don't hesitate to like, share and subscribe, and also hit the bell icon to get more videos from me. Peace.